So I want to start this video off sharing with you a story I read about in business school that blew me away. There was this team of scientists, and around the country, they posted a job application. But here's the interesting thing. They put out two different salaries in which they were going to pay for the exact same job application. One of them was $30,000 a year. Another one was $150,000 a year. Now, you would think you're pretty smart. You understand economics. You're paying more money. You'd think you'd get a lot more applications for the 150. But it turned out that was not the case. In fact, it was the complete opposite. What the scientists concluded, and what many of us who have studied human psychology know, is that human beings self-select. If you don't have confidence, you're not going to have the willpower. You're not going to have the ability to take that first step to go after what you want. So with that being said, gents, let's get into it. Today's video, the 5 steps to command confidence. Step number 1 to commanding confidence, you need to develop the right mindset. I believe it was Henry Ford that said, whether you believe you can do something or you believe you can't, you're probably right. And this again and again is what I see when I'm around successful people versus people who are not successful, is the mindset shift. It's something very difficult to detect, especially day by day, but over time, we're talking a period of 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, the belief that you will find a way versus the belief that the world is against you and that it's the economy, that it's my boss, that it's this relationship I've been in for 8 years and it's just going nowhere. You got to drop the victim mentality. Yes, I understand that life is fair and I understand that you've got the odds stacked against you. Many people in life, though, have found a way to be able to say, okay, like I'm going to use what I have and I'm going to believe, first up, in myself, and then I'm going to believe that I can go out there and get what I want. All the people I see, this mindset, this belief, you find and you see things which other people can't. And I'm not saying this is magic. I'm saying that this is something that you put in the time, you put in the effort, you start to make the sacrifices, and other people notice. Luck starts to go your way. Luck is opportunity meeting preparation. And because you started waking up early, because you started putting in those 4 extra hours of study, because you believe that you are capable and you are worthy of that amazing relationship or that job worth, that's going to pay you $150,000, you kept looking for it. If you really want to go after it and you want to achieve greatness, you've got to be willing to understand that, hey, the rest of the world is not necessarily going to understand you. But that type of mindset, knowing what you want and going after it, despite the odds, despite people telling you, okay, when I started the business, everyone's very clear to tell you that 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Well, okay, I will take those odds because I know that if I don't try this, I'm going to dry up inside. I will never have known. And it's to me that fear of never having tried. I would much rather fail. And I've had multiple businesses that have failed, but I've also had some that have had success. And that's the way you've got to approach relationships. That's the way you've got to approach if you're going to go after your dream job. Tip number 2, EPIC self-mastery. So EPIC stands for Elevated Personal Instruction Code. And the best example I can give you is Neo in The Matrix. Remember that classic 1999 movie? I remember watching this, went to the theater multiple times. It just blew me away how we see this character at the beginning and by the end of it, an entirely different person. It was his source code that changed. It was how he viewed himself that changed. I mean, it was technically the same person at the beginning and at the end. But at the end, he's this hero capable of almost anything versus at the beginning, he's this victim. He's this guy that's, a cog in the machine. Now with Neo, it was pretty simple. He would just take a cord, plug it into the back of his neck, and he'd be able to do all types of kung fu or fly a helicopter. It's not that easy for us, but guess what? We are surrounded with books. We are surrounded by people who have the knowledge that we desire. You can go out there and find a mentor. You can go out there and find a teacher. You can hire a tutor. You can simply devote yourself to self-study, whether it be audio, whether it be books, whether it's simply there are just so many ways to learn things. Guys, if you want a job that's going to pay you 10 times what you're currently earning, understand you're going to have to rewrite your code. And most guys don't even understand what their code is. You don't know what your mission is. You don't know what your values are. You don't even know what your goals are in life. Most of us are just people are out there walking around like zombies. Guys, take the time to understand, what do you want out of this one precious life that you have? What are your values? Because guess what? If you don't lay out your values, if you don't know what they are, society is going to press them on you. What are your goals? This is really easy. Just break out what's your goal today, what's your goal this week, what's your goal over the next month, maybe your goal over the next year. You can tell somebody who's destined for greatness because they've got their goals broken out, literally almost a decade in advance. They see where they're going to go, and they don't always end up exactly there, but they get oftentimes pretty darn close. And let's not forget standards, because so many of us have this vision, this idea of where we want to be, yet we accept people around us, we accept work that is well below our standards. Yeah, you want to find an amazing relationship, someone you can spend the rest of your life with, yet you're dating people that don't meet your standards. You want to get your company up off the ground. You want to take your company to that next level, yet you are employing people who provide and do work for you, which is well below the standard that a world-class company would have. Gents, if you want to level up where you're at in life, you've got to take control. You've got to pay attention to your epic self-mastery. Now let's talk about gaining clarity through action. And when I say gain, I mean genuine, authentic inner nature. This is you through and through becoming that source code. Because you can read all the books in the world, you can go through the classes, you can hire the mentor, and you can do the exercises. But here's the thing, is you actually have to start living authentically as that person. You've got to actually do the work. Okay, this book right here about the bearded gentleman. Guess what? I can read this book. I can read this book 10 times. That does not make me a bearded gentleman. Guess what? I've got to grow the beard. Yes, it sounds so simplistic, but so many times people pick up the knowledge, but knowledge is not transformation. Knowledge does not rule the world. If so, librarians, they would own the planet, but they don't, because it's a lot more. You've got to go out there and practice it. Leadership. I see so many people read these leadership books, take leadership seminars, but you know what it takes to be a leader? It means taking on that position with your local community, the one nobody wants, the one that you know needs to be done. It's not paid, and you're going to be getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to be able to do the extra bit of work that you're going to commit to for a full year. But you know what? If you want to be a leader, that is what being a leader is. It's about taking on and doing that dirty work, about doing things that other people aren't going to do, but you know it's going to benefit you, your family, your community, and it's going to make them stronger. And yes, it's not something it's going to be glorified. Probably not going to write a book about this, but that is what a true leader does. Now let's talk about your triple I mastery. That's your instant impressive image. And that's pretty much what I specialize here at Real Men Real Style. If you've watched our videos, we talk again and again about first impressions and why they are so powerful. You know, guys, I don't care about suits. I don't care about sports jackets. I don't care that much about clothing. What I care about is that you are a man who wants to go out there and change the world. You want to start that nonprofit. You want to get that business up off the ground. You want to find a job that's going to better take care of you and your family. But here's the thing, is that people resort to shortcuts. We are stupid human beings that within our inner nature, we judge others based off what we see. And that's what you need to master and you need to understand. So if you're in sales, you need to dress the part so that you go out there and you close more deals. You're able to close at a higher rate. You're able to close at a higher price, and you're able to live a better life because guess what? You dress the part of the successful salesman. Or if you're in that nonprofit, you're able to go in there and you're able to command respect. You're able to walk into that room of bankers that are going to loan you money and they trust you because you look the part. You actually look like one of them. And guess what? They're going to trust one of their own. Yes, it may not be something you wear a suit every day, but that day you own the look of the suit and you're the best looking guy in the room. And having that confidence, understanding it's not just about owning the nice clothing, but it's about wearing it. It's about understanding the power of a uniform, because I don't think that you have to dress in a suit or, really fancy clothing every single day, but you have something that you default to. So when you accidentally run into a client on the weekend, you're wearing your uniform and you send that message that you want to of professionalism, your lawn care company, you've got your little sign right there. So that guy you've been talking with multiple times, he sees the company name, he remembers it, and he says, you know what? I need you guys to come out Monday. Thanks for the reminder, and that's what your uniform does. The next step to commanding confidence, a man should master his environment. And when I say his, I mean human interaction skills. So you may be thinking, okay, we live in a post-COVID world where people just aren't interacting as much. Therefore, human interactive skills matter less. I would argue that is the exact opposite. Because we are less inclined to see and engage with each other, guess what? When you do it in that video conference call, it matters so much more because people are going to give a higher weight to what they see, what they visualize, what they feel. And believe me, in a meeting, it's important what you say. It's important that you lay things out. But if you belittle people without even knowing it, if you make people feel less confident because you don't look the part, because you're not giving an air of strength and competency in that video call, guess what? It doesn't matter what you said. They weren't listening. They're wondering, gosh, is this company going to be around? Or is this my boss? This is the guy I'm going to follow. Gentlemen, you've got to understand the power of human interaction skills. We are animals. We have this fight or flight response. And if you make people nervous, if you get them outside of a zone where they're no longer able to pay attention to the work, but they're thinking, I just don't feel comfortable, or I don't trust, or I don't even know if I believe this person, and they pick up on small little cues. So you've got to understand the importance of eye contact. And yes, even on video, how to actually communicate with somebody. Because yes, I understand that you like to text everybody, but is text the best way to actually interact with somebody about an important message, such as, hey, I'm going to have to let go of this part of the staff? I mean, what does that say about you? You got to understand the way human beings and the way that we want to interact and how it affects the psychology. This is so big. So many guys mess this up. They're oblivious to their human interaction skills. Now, gents, if you found this video interesting, you're going to want to click on the link down in the description, because I've got a new course I just put out about how to boost your confidence, how to build your confidence step by step. It's an experience transformational course, one that any guy can take to basically be able to have the confidence to go after the job, your dream job, the job that's going to pay you 2 to 3 times more, and you're going to be happier doing. To be able to find that dream relationship, to be able to go after the woman, to be able to build that relationship with that special somebody that you've wanted and you know that you deserve. Now, gents, I truly believe that every single man can build his confidence. Based off my research, based off my own experience, I know that step by step, day by day, you can become the man you know yourself to be. You owe it to yourself to check out this course down in the description if you've ever suffered from a lack of self-confidence. If you know that you are not yet at your potential, you're going to want to check out this course. This is going to be a transformational course. It's going to have tons of information, but what it's mostly about is you taking action, because it is through those actions, through you practicing, becoming the man you know yourself to be, that you're going to be able to realize your true full potential. So what video to watch next? How about my 10 style commandments? Seriously, if you haven't watched this video, you need to go watch it. I lay out the 10 rules that I think every man needs to know when it comes to style. If you haven't watched this video, yeah, you're missing out. Go check it out.